Hey, this is Dave Simon. It is February 5th, and I want to talk today about how marketing can, impact how you teach. I mean, coming up with a creative, clever, enticing marketing is super important, obviously, but then you've got to deliver on that. So I want to talk about how to do that and how you're going to deliver, or where you're going to deliver is actually a part of it's going to be how the customer is interacting with your studio, but also it's what goes on in the actual lesson. And it's something that I don't talk much about in term, I typically tend to focus on marketing, but the lesson itself is a form of marketing. And I want to talk about that today. So here's my brand promise to my customers. I'm going to read that, and then I want to get into how how I actualize that in my studio. Okay, so my brand promise is: we believe music has the ability to transform a child's life. All kids love music. Not all kids love music lessons. We offer music lessons that make playing an instrument fun and easy. We feel, or when kids feel good about their abilities, they are so much more likely to stick with music. Kids that play an instrument experience a sense of success and happiness that's unique to music. What this doesn't say, and I do use in a lot of my marketing, is I say, our goal is to have your child up and playing music on day one. So, kind of looking at these two things here. One is the first statement is we believe music has the ability to transform a child's life. That's implying that we my studio is going to transform your child's life. I don't say it, but it's implied. So I have to deliver on that. I have to transform their child's life. If I don't, then I'm failing to make good on my promise. I also say in a lot of my messaging that we get kids up and playing music on day one. So that's a pretty clear and concrete promise. So I have to get kids up and playing music on day one, and I have to transform their lives. Not an easy task, right? So here's how it might look in a lesson. One thing I like to say to kids when they first come into their lesson is I'll say, "Hey, so are you a guitar player? Have you ever played guitar before?" Kid's like, "No, I haven't." "Oh, you're not? Well, you're not leaving here today until you can play guitar and you're a guitar player. And if that means that we're going to stay here until midnight, we're staying here until midnight." So the kid, it's not that it's heavy-handed, but the kid's thinking to themselves, "Well, there's no way that's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to play music in one day." And the kid has an idea as to what their first lesson is going to look like, and they are, thinking that they're going to be pretty limited as to what they can do in one lesson. If you can get that kid to walk out of there and feel, and the parent, if both the parent and the child can walk away from that first lesson and say, "Wow, like I played a lot better than I thought, or I was able to do a lot more than I thought I could do, and I'm a much better musician than I thought I would be." It's a huge win. If you got the kid thinking that and the parent thinking, "Wow, like I was like really worried that my kid might not like music lessons the way I didn't like music lessons. My kid sounds pretty good." After like only 30 minutes in there, they could do that. Wow, that's pretty great. Um, I'm gonna grab a guitar. Sit tight, people. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna model for you with the guitar. Gotta go back here. You see the guitar back here? I'm gonna grab this. Okay, so let's talk about how this might actually look like in a lesson. One thing that I'm a huge fan of in that first lesson is just get them up and playing. Don't explain anything. No talking. "Hey kid, do this. Now do that." Good. Oh, by the way, that's called a G chord. So I always look at, with any instrument, and in other videos I'll explore, the different instruments, but I'm going to focus on guitar. Two things that really sound good for kids on guitar is playing an E power chord, that open E, and then I call it an inverted power chord. So here, let me model now that I have a guitar. Of course, I'm not in tune. I have a tuner on my guitar, so I can cheat. Okay, so for example, I might say to a kid, okay, I'll say, play this string. Now press here and play that. And I'll just say to the kid, okay, let's just play this. And I'll let them just vamp on it. And I'll say, you know what, we're going to do this for a couple minutes. And then on my end, on the guitar, let me get this in the mic, I'll add to it while the kid's doing this. Right? So I'll accompany the kid and I'll add, some additional things on my playing. And I just want them to feel music. If they can feel it, they'll get sold on it. And the kid will be blown away that they're, creating that sound. Okay. So I get them doing that. That's really great. Then I'll say, okay, now I want you to, and at some point I'll refer to that as E. It doesn't mean anything to them, but I want them to hear the language. The next thing I would show them is, you can see this. I'll say, put your finger going across these two strings and play those two notes. And they're going to bump, strings like I just did. Here's what I always have them play, is I have them play open strings to G, F sharp, maybe A would be better. So like this. Right? I won't tell them when anything's called. I'll get them to play it. It can take them, an 8 and 9-year-old kid can get up and playing that within, just, a minute or two. And then I'm going to accompany them in a way that's going to make the music sound bigger and fuller. So I might go, something, while the kid's just sitting there doing that. And I am going to focus on, in that first lesson, on repetition, getting that kid to play over and over and over. And I'll say to them, hey, we're going to play this for 2 minutes straight without stopping. I'll maybe use my phone and I'll put it on a little like stopwatch, so then it becomes a game for the kid. So what's happening? I'm transforming their lives and I'm getting them up to play music in the first lesson. How am I transforming their lives? Because they've never played music before, most likely. Or I find out if they've ever played music before. And they've never played music quite like this before. Let's say they took piano lessons as a kid. Most likely the teacher opened up a book and said, this is middle C. There's middle C. That's not so fun and exciting. I get them up and I playing right away. And I define things after they happen. So for example, with this little exercise with those inverted power chords, I won't say the names of those chords until they've played it. Okay, that first chord is E. Let me hear your E again. Good. Your second one is G. Let me hear you go up to the 3rd fret. Let's hear that G. Then up on A, up on that, that 5th fret. And they're up and they're playing music on day one. So that might even just be a whole entire first lesson for the kid. I'm not instructing them. I'm just saying, kid, repeat after me, imitate. One thing I use a lot in my sales is I say, we teach music the way kids learn a language, by listening and imitating, speaking, and ultimately learning the rules of language. That's how we teach music. I just did that just now. I just said, listen to me and repeat. Here's an E power chord. I'm not going to tell you that it's an E power chord. I'm not going to tell you that this is the E string and that this is the A string, and the E power chord is built on an E and a B. None of that. I just want them up and playing and experiencing it. If the kid walks out of there again and feels good about their abilities, and I provided them or I gave them an experience they've never had in their lives, their life has been transformed and they're up and playing on day one. Right. So then I have the mom come in at the end of the lesson, and I want the focus to shift to the mom. I really want the mom to feel good about what's going on. I want the mom to feel like, wow, I underestimated my child's ability. They sound pretty good. Look, if I've got a kid playing an E power chord and I'm playing a big open E minor chord, the mom is going, this sounds really good. She's not necessarily in her head. If she's not a musician, she's not able to quite figure out what's going on and what I'm doing. It's not an illusion or a trick, but I am making it sound more, I'm musically making it sound bigger than it really is. And there was something else I wanted to say. A slight distraction in the background. Um, oh, but then I have the mom come in and video. I'll say, "Oh, mom, you should make a video of this." I have the mom video the two things that we did, and what's she gonna do? She's gonna put that on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. Oh my God, I can't believe what my little Jimmy was able to do after only one lesson. And everyone's going to know, oh wow, that's great, where's Jimmy taking lessons? And then she's going to say it right there. So that's kind of how I make good on my initial brand promise. Now a question might be, well, hey, these kids have to learn how to read. Yeah, they're going to learn how to read. I'll teach them that, but I want to get them, I want to make sure that first and foremost that the kid believes in his or her musical ability, and that they perceive music as easy, and that they're good at it. Once those things are established, then the real learning can begin. So I'm going to dig a little bit more into this topic, but I've got people now in the background. They are wanting my attention, so I will go and see what's going on. But hope you find this helpful. Have a great day.